This is the VirtForce Podcast. I'm your host, Kimber. Our show helps active duty military spouses land virtual careers. We interview virtual work influencers to uncover the secrets of mobile work. If you want income sustainable from anywhere in the world, this is the podcast for you. Hi, VirtForce. It's Kimber. I am so excited to bring to you a very special guest today to talk to you about the Salesforce platform. He is a fourth generation Navy service member, and this goes all the way back to his great-grandfathers and his grandfathers who served in World War II. He is a 20-year Naval Flight Officer veteran, father of 4 wonderful boys, expert in military career transition, 4-time Trailhead Ranger, which you're going to learn what that is in this episode. And he has 413 badges. Needless to say, he is definitely a Salesforce enthusiast. Please welcome Mr. Dave Nava. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Kimber. Thanks very much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here.
I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to the community. So I think that Salesforce has always been something that I've been aware of because I work in IT. And so I always hear people talking about Salesforce. And someone recently introduced me to VetForce, and I saw an interview with you where you were talking about how you used VetForce to transition from active duty military into civilian career roles. And I was hoping you could talk to us about why you decided to do that and what you're learning from the VetForce platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a little bit about my background. I've been preparing for my military transition for the past 5 years. And I knew that I wanted to manage projects, but I wasn't really sure what industry I wanted to go into. So after getting, an MBA and some project management certifications, I began talking to recruiters, and the constant theme was, we see that you have all this project management certification and training, but what industry do you want to join? And I really had no idea. And so I didn't have a passion for information systems at that time. And so, but I knew that I needed to figure out, what industry I wanted to apply my skills in. So I started looking around using LinkedIn as a networking device, and one day discovered VetForce. And I had never heard of Salesforce before. This was about 8 months ago, back in May. And for those that are not aware, VetForce is a employee resource group created by Salesforce specifically for service members, for veterans, and for spouses of service members and veterans to provide them with free professional development and career training in cloud computing, specifically Salesforce Careers, which is a customer relationship management platform. And so I knew none of this, but I jumped on into the VetForce site. And what they have you do is they have you create a free Trailhead account. And Trailhead is Salesforce's online training community that is organized according to specific functional areas. And whenever you complete a series of modules, you earn a badge. And so they use gamification in order to make it fun and make it inviting.
I love that. So it's fun and it's entertaining, and you have 413 badges, so you would know.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan overall of just kind of computer-based training. Most of it is drab and boring, but this actually is fun. They use pop culture references, and you get to complete projects inside Salesforce sandboxes, which are basically simulated production environments. So it's very hands-on. It's very fun. It's a little bit cheeky. But it is a awesome way to learn how to use Salesforce, and completely free. And so I did a couple badges, found out that I loved it, and very quickly decided that I do have a passion for information systems. And so kind of jumped into it head first and began my journey down that path. And again, for those that aren't familiar with VetForce, they provide free training and education. So they will provide you with free week-long Salesforce training classes, which are valued at about $4,000, either online or in residence. And then once you complete the training class, then you're eligible for a free voucher to take a certification exam, which are usually about $200 to $300. And I have friends in the community that have taken upwards of 5 certifications, and all for free.
Okay, so let's pause on that for a second.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of mind-blowing. Anyone who's listening to this, if you are focusing on career certifications, but I can't stress enough that if you don't have an education or if you do have an education, either way, in my opinion, the best way to make yourself marketable is to achieve career certifications. And what Dave just said is that these courses are regular thousands of dollars, like $3,000, $4,000, but they're being offered to you as an active duty military spouse and as a veteran for free. Is that correct, Dave?
Absolutely.
Through VetForce. So grasp that for a second. That's such a big deal. I wanted to ask you, Dave, did you have any kind of experience with IT before you got introduced to VetForce by Salesforce? Because I think when you use words like cloud computing and information systems, for someone who doesn't currently work in that field, it can be kind of like gibberish or overwhelming.
No, actually, I had no background in IT whatsoever. And that's the beautiful thing about Salesforce and specifically VetForce is that you don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have a background in IT. You can learn from scratch, which is what I did. I had no idea what any of this was. Admittedly, I've spent quite a bit of time over the past 8 months, probably 5-6 hours a day each day, sometimes longer, learning it, but it's within anyone's reach.
For the listener, what we're really talking about here is even if you don't have experience in this realm or in this industry, Salesforce is making it so easy for you to bridge the gap. So if you're looking for a career transition, this is a great opportunity for you to transition.
Right, exactly. And they're very welcoming of military spouses. And in fact, they've actually released some trailhead badges that are all about employing military spouses.
I saw that on your LinkedIn this week.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think you shared a module from one of the product managers at Salesforce. So I'm interested to see what that module is.
Yeah, basically it talks about the unique challenges that military spouses face because they move around so much. And it also talks about, although they have unique challenges, they also have unique abilities. So when you move around a lot and you have to manage a household on the go, you have unique hard and soft skills that you can bring to any organization, which makes you very marketable. And so it highlights those as well.
That's one of the points that we try to stress in the community, no matter what your experience is in your career or just from the experience you've had as being an active duty military spouse, you are developing hard and soft skills that you can transfer.
Absolutely. And most folks don't realize that.
Yep. And I think it's just having those conversations to express it and bringing the topic up, which I think that the Salesforce MilSpouse module does.
Right, it does. Yeah, and it's very easy to sign up. You would just Google VetForce, click on the link, and you can create a free profile, and it will direct you to create a free trailhead profile. So literally in the span of 10 minutes, you can be earning badges and learning a brand new skill in cloud computing.
So how do you display that to potential employers?
Sure. Yeah. So there's 3 areas that you need to work on if you want to obtain employment, in my opinion, in the industry. And so the first one is you want to try to get certified as quickly as possible. You can do that by, like I said, opening a free Trailhead account and studying. There's also plenty of free study resources online. And then as well, VetForce provides you with that free class and with a certification exam. And the free class is sufficient to train you such that you're able to pass the exam. And that's what I took, and I did great. And so within the span of about 6 months, I went from 0 to certified. And so that's one facet of it. The certification brings legitimacy, and it tells people that you're serious about professionally developing yourself in this field. The second element is you really want to have hands-on experience because most job advertisements will want you to have one or more years of experience in the platform. And it's hard to get experience if you don't have experience. And so Salesforce has created a path to getting experience because what they have essentially done is they've partnered with nonprofits to provide nonprofit organizations with 10 free Salesforce licenses. And so what that has done is it's created a need in the community for pro bono or free Salesforce admins. And so there are chat rooms, and you can also ask on LinkedIn about opportunities to be a pro bono admin. And that's exactly how I got my experience. Even before I was certified, I was going through Trailhead, learning how to perform all the various functions of a Salesforce admin. And I simply went on LinkedIn one day and I said, hey, listen, community, I'd really love to volunteer my time. I've got about 10, 20 hours a week that I can donate to being a nonprofit organization Salesforce admin. And within a couple of days, I had an offer. I accepted. I went on to be their intern for a few months before they started paying me. And so now I'm a part-time employee, gaining experience in the platform. And so I mean, that's another element that definitely helps you gain the attention of recruiters. In addition to certification, is having that experience.
It's the full experience. It's the training free, the certification help and helping you land the certification. And then it's delivering you right into real world experience, which I almost think is a reflection of how the Salesforce platform is designed to be so seamless and integrate with business processes and bring you from step A, B, all the way to step C. And that's also kind of the processes that they're offering through VetForce.
Exactly. Yeah. And the great thing is you don't necessarily have to be certified to get that Salesforce admin role with a nonprofit. I wasn't. And I brought an additional individual into my team, my nonprofit, and he wasn't certified when he came aboard either. He very quickly got certified, but that's the great thing is you can learn as you go. And so it was basically a fire hose effect where as I was teaching my users how to use the platform, I was in fact learning how to use the platform myself, because there's nothing that helps you learn something better than teaching it.
Right. So do you think that having the Salesforce skill impacts your earning capacity?
I think so. At the end of the day, if you are extremely proficient in Salesforce, I don't think the certification matters as much. Because if you're able to perform the functions, that's really all the employer cares about. But when you're trying to attract attention and get those interviews and get those phone conversations going with recruiters, I think having the certification on your profile definitely helps. It provides you with some legitimacy for folks that don't know you. And so that's what I use to leverage when I went on LinkedIn and began networking with Salesforce professionals and Salesforce recruiting and staffing professionals to try to generate opportunities. And so I put on my profile that I was Salesforce admin certified. They also issue you a special background that you can add to your profile. I put my Trailhead badges on there. And that's definitely helped get attention on LinkedIn from recruiters. And the other thing that's key and that a lot of people don't realize is you really have to post, and not just post once in a while. You have to post consistently on LinkedIn as you continually expand, your network, so that you become a regular occurrence and people get used to hearing from you. And so I would post my accomplishments, both with certifications, with Trailhead. I would ask questions. I would answer questions. And then every day I'm adding new contacts from that Salesforce community so that my feed in LinkedIn improves. And there's more people that I can chat with. And then from those posts, people will reach out. And so I never turn down folks because I love spreading the word, but that also creates opportunities for yourself as well. So I had an individual who I had probably a 30-minute phone conversation with, and he was excited about Salesforce. And I got a message from him the other day saying, hey, Dave, I saw this job advertisement from Salesforce, thought you might be interested. And I hadn't seen it, but I was indeed interested and I applied. And so I never would have had that opportunity had I not, taken the time to mentor someone. So it's a quid pro quo, and you really have to put yourself out there in social media if you want to generate maximum opportunities.
Right. And that's one of the things that we teach in our course. Building your social network is building your reputation online. And if you want to work virtually, or even if you don't, it's important that people be able to, or employers be able to turn to your social presence on LinkedIn and other platforms and identify you as a viable candidate and someone that they want to get to know and someone that they might like to work with and enjoy to be around.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes time. It's probably a couple hours of my day every single day. Not only creating relationships with new people, but also maintaining relationships, checking in with people, touching base, responding to messages.
Yep, I would totally agree with that. Are you more interested in working for Salesforce or maybe for an organization implementing Salesforce And also, are you more interested in working on site or working virtually?
So great questions. And that's one of the reasons why I like the Salesforce ecosystem so much, is because those are all opportunity. Those are all options. When you enter the ecosystem and you start looking for jobs, there's part-time, full-time, contract, project-based, remote, on-site. So me personally, I think my preference would be to work for Salesforce. They have a fantastic culture. It's difficult to get in. It's like a Facebook or a Google. So you really have to be persistent. But that would be my number one choice. I think failing that, I would really like to work as a consultant, because I'm passionate about continuous learning. And as a consultant, I would get access to a lot of different projects, a lot of different unique problem sets that I could help to solve. So that's very attractive. And then I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
I know that you're currently working for your current employer part-time virtually. So are you looking to stay virtual, or are you looking to go on site?
I think ultimately I'd like a little bit of both. I mean, there's pros and cons to both, but I like that group dynamic that you can really only face-to-face. Because it's a different element when you're in the room with somebody and you got a whiteboard in front of you and you're brainstorming things out. And I really enjoy designing and developing solutions in that way. Having said that, there are also unique advantages to being remote, coming to work in your pajamas, managing your household, and so I enjoyed that as well. So I think a hybrid work scenario where I can come to work a couple days a week and then work remotely for the remainder is probably ideal for me. But it's so customizable in the ecosystem that you could have either one.
Right. And I love the term ecosystem. To me, what that means is sort of what we were just talking about. You can work for Salesforce, or you can work for almost any industry you want who uses Salesforce. I don't have a list of the industries that Salesforce has permeated, but I'm pretty sure the options are endless.
Yeah, I mean, there's thousands of companies that employ Salesforce, from Dell and Amazon all the way down. And there's tons of companies that you can be an admin or developer for in the major hub cities, or work remotely. So and it's exploding. The market for Salesforce qualified professionals is exploding. There's huge opportunity.
All right, Dave, do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that, if you're interested in touching base with me, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Please shoot me a quick message and just let me know who you are and the reason for the connection, and I'll be sure to approve it and connect with you. And if you want to have phone conversations in the future and talk to me one-on-one about Salesforce or about VetForce, I'm happy to do that as well. And just lastly, I apologize for my voice. I'm a little under the weather, so I know my voice is scratchy.
Oh, no, you actually sound fine, but I'm so sorry to make you chat while you're not feeling well.
No, I love giving back to the military community. So it's honestly my pleasure to be able to chat with you and with your community today.
Well, thank you for your time. VirtForce, we will have Dave's LinkedIn profile link in the show notes, as well as the link to register for VetForce and Salesforce page links in the show notes. All right. Thank you so much, Dave, for your time.
Thank you, Kimber.
All right. Have a great day. All right, VirtForce, that's it for this episode. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to this podcast. If you need to read the show notes, you can find those at virtforce.us. And finally, we want to hear from you. So if you have a question or an idea for a new episode, email us at support@virtforce.us. Catch you next week.